I really had to step out of the way. I had to step out of the way and say, okay, my job now is to build a culture and let my leaders lead the company.
Thank you for doing this with me. I really appreciate it. We've got David Sabada with A-mrazek. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us about the business, because I know from knowing your business and knowing your employees too that there are a lot of moving pieces to the puzzle. I mean, no pun intended, but um, I want to know about you.
Well, Joe, thank you very much for inviting me today. It's a pleasure being with you, and it's a pleasure being with your followers. We appreciate this very much.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in the A-mrazek moving systems. We're obviously in the moving business, and we move families and we move commodities locally, long distance, and internationally. And that's not real glamorous work, but I will tell you the exciting part of what we do. We believe that we're in the problem solving business.
Mm,
Anybody can get a truck and move a piano. Anybody can do that. But when people have special needs and special desires, that's where we create solutions for them. As an example, when the Cardinals need to move to and from spring training, we're the ones that they call. When the Rams needed to go to the Super Bowl twice, we're the ones that they called. When Pope John Paul II came to St. Louis, we're the ones that they called.
oh,
So
that's
as
cool.
we
That gives
get
me goosebumps.
yeah, it did us too.
Yeah.
As we get into this, I'm very proud of our company, but I love the title of your podcast, Unleashed Potential, because while I would love to talk about A-mrazek and what we do, I'm so very proud of our people. And I think that that is a great title, especially today when people are inner focused on their immediate needs, but not focused on their employees' needs or their
Yeah.
customers' needs.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's so true, David. Like whenever, if you can focus on what the big goal is, if you can focus on that, providing solutions for people, being a resource for them in what they need. Yes, okay, listen, we're in business. Eventually, at some point at the end of the rainbow, we got to get paid for what we're doing, right? But when you have your right focus in mind, the rest of it makes it so much easier.
And we think that that focus in solution really comes around the culture of our organization. Yeah, I'll be real honest with you, Joe. I've had two times in my life where I had challenges with banks. I had two times in my life where I had challenges with the morale in the company. I will take the bank problems every single time because I know what to do with that.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
try to turn around morale or as you're developing a culture, that really takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of focus. And so I think that that's really the most important part as we go through. I cannot expect my frontline performers to exceed the expectations of my customers if they are not well respected in this building. That is
Right.
critical.
Hugely critical. Okay, all right, all right. So you teased me a little bit there. I want to know, I'm going to take notes because you're brilliant. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't know it, but um, tell me about that challenge of culture that you had. What came about? Why did it show up? And really, what did you do about it? That's what I want to know, because that's a beautiful tease you just dropped there.
Oh, I think you probably just lost all your listeners when you called me brilliant. I've never had anybody say that before.
Listen, it doesn't
So,
matter. They're half of them are asleep right now, just waiting to go to bed. So it's fine. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
so when I bought this company in 1986, my previous background was that of a football coach.
Got it.
And my management approach was in your face. I mean, it was, and it's my way or the highway, and this is how we're going to do things. And we got off to a great start. We just the beginning days we just grew so fast it was spectacular. And then one day, and of course, I was patting myself in the back, right? I did think I was brilliant. And then
Yeah.
one day, all of a sudden, I noticed that I was the only one in the company making decisions, that I was the only one that seemed to be pushing. And I thought, what's wrong with this picture? And so I really had to step out of the way. I had to step out of the way and say, okay, my job now is to build a culture and let my leaders lead the company. So the first thing we did, I think every organization has to have a foundation or core values, what they believe in. And our core values are customer, quality, safety, people, and benefits. And it's more than just a sign on a wall. Before every meeting, we read them. And they're hanging up all over the place. And we talk about it. And we use this as a guide. Look, every day we have challenges of what's right or what's wrong to do, right? We all do it. And a lot of times we take the shortcut. Well, if you read the core values and you believe in the core values, they will take you to the right decision. So
Mhm.
then the next thing we had to ask ourselves, do our people, do our frontline performers, do they understand the core values? And do they know them? And I'm proud to say that they do. I'm just so proud of the high performance people we have. And I didn't do that. It's our team that did that together.
Mhm.
I wouldn't want to compete against my company. I will tell you that.
I think I'm going to hold true to that brilliance, and I think it takes. And David, not know we don't know each other, but I think it takes a lot of guts. I think I'm going to hold true to that brilliance, and I think it takes. And David, not know we don't know each other, but I think it takes a lot of guts to be able to say, you know what, the way I was doing things wasn't working. Something ain't right. I want something better for my team. I want something better for my culture. This is like you know what it's like when the energy is off, right?
Right.
When something's wrong in your people, to walk in and like something, the vibrations are off in the company, and to make such a beautiful switch that I'm sure took a lot of work. So what are some of the things that you did to build that culture and that foundation to make that switch for you?
First thing was it was hard for me. Um, I was used to running my own ship. And the first thing we did is as we were talking to our leaders, we gradually gave them more and more authority. We told them what we were going to do. We told them we were going to pass off authority and pass off responsibility. And then from that point, it was their job to earn additional authority and additional responsibility. Most of the people did a spectacular job. Not all of them did. And so we had to make sure that we were all going in the same path. And what's the book? Get all the right people on the bus. Well,
Yeah.
some people shouldn't be on the bus. And you got to, and we have to, as difficult as that is, you have to recognize that.
Yeah.
One of the things that we believe is really important in an organization is, look, your people, my people, they know what's right and
Yeah.
they know what's wrong.
Yeah.
When you let that gray line get so wide that now you've distorted in their mind what's right and what's wrong, that's where things start to break down. And as
Yeah.
long as we keep sending that message, and the other thing you got to remember is, by this leadership group, they have way more eyes on what's going on than I ever
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And so people earned it. They continue to earn it, and it's just been fantastic for everybody.
And David, I think I see it in like four different ways, all at the same time. What you said, that gray area, right? Because it's not just a gray area between a team member and and decision makers, right? It could be that level of gray area could be from equal team member to equal team member too, right? Well, listen, I'm gonna wear a blue shirt today. No, 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 we don't
Right,
wear blue, we wear purple. Like,
right.
no, 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 no. Listen, they said wear a clean shirt. This is a clean shirt. What's wrong with you? And so
Right.
it doesn't create that atmosphere of cooperation, and everything falls apart.
Joe, that's a fact. We got to remember too that my ultimate critic is my customer.
Yep.
That is the ultimate critic. And at the end of the day, we need to exceed their expectations. And so if it starts to break down on the dock, or if it starts to break down in the office, I will guarantee you it will break down in front of that customer. It will always happen.
Yeah.
And so we just think and we've got buy-in from our people. We've got great leadership on all levels of our company. You noticed that I didn't call my ladies and gentlemen movers. They are performers.
Yeah.
When we go out and do a job, we are performing. We are creating memories. We're not moving a sofa. We are creating memories with that customer of how we performed. And so we
Yeah.
think it's really critical that we address them as performers and leaders.
We're often so tied up in our own industry and office bubbles that we don't often get to see what other people are doing. So I'm going to say this as a side bonus for myself because, sometimes ego does take over. For us, what you have described, we call life effect in my office. What can I do for my patients that could get them? They don't come in because of pain. They don't call you because they need to move a piano. They call you because grandma gave us this piano and we want to keep grandma's memories alive in our new house. That's why they call you.
You said it perfect. You said it perfect.
Yeah.
You will be my next speaker at our company meeting. You said it
Call me up.
perfect.
I'll do it.
You
I'll
got
do
it.
it.
You got it.
Yeah. It's like seriously, David, like, look, the goosebumps again.
Yeah.
Like, it's exciting to see that other people get the point that it's people first. It's their goals, their desires. What do you want to get out of care here in my office, David? Yes, I will fix your back. I'm good at. I'm the damn best at that. But it's not about that. Can you get on the floor and play Legos with your kid, or do you want to be the dad that is stuck on the couch? Buddy, I can't do Daddy Mountain today. I need a break. Like, where the love.
Yep. We had an interesting thing, Joe. We meet as a company once a month and we meet with our performance crews once a month. And Angie, our vice president of quality and safety, leads those meetings. And back in July, everyone talked about how much fun they were having working here, how much fun it was to be with one another.
Yeah.
30 days later, it started coming out that you know what of course it's 100 degrees, right? It's 100 degrees. They're hot, and all of a sudden their focus becomes personal.
Yeah.
And this came out in this meeting, and the question is, 30 days ago we were having a wonderful time. What's happened in 30 days? And when you look at it like that, here's what happened. We all became inner focused. We all became tolerant of, well, it's 100 degrees today. We can let this go. And that's what I mean. There goes your, and pull it back in. We got it back in. But had we have not had those monthly meetings in this open dialogue, we would have never known that. And Angie did
Yep.
a brilliant job of pulling it out.
Yep. It's so important to keep an active pulse on your culture, because it's one thing to find some cute like, how am I going to say this? Some cute words, put them on a poster, slap the poster all around, but it's different when you live them. It's
Yep.
different when you live them. Okay, so listen, I heard something about this gold star chart you all got there, and I'm thinking like I'm back in kindergarten, or I'm back in second grade. Mrs. Pellegrini is going to tell me I need my Joe. You did your count by fives, and I want a gold star. So I want to hear what's this gold star chart you got going on, and how did this come about too?
So, let me tell you the results first, okay?
All
Because
right,
I
sure.
love to brag about our people.
Give me the back end first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've we've won two times. We've won the Better Business Torch Award. We've won the President of United Van Lines Quality Award. We've won the Safety Award 15 times in the last 17 years, number one safety performance in the country. We've won awards from our clients. And so that's the result. Now, let me tell you how we got there. Everyone uses the fancy word. Let's talk about transparency and let's talk about accountability. Great words.
Yeah.
But what do they mean?
Yes, thank you.
If you walk around our company, Joe, if you work for us, your name would be on a board and your evaluation and performance of every single job you did, every time you touched the customer would be hanging up on the board. And those results, as I said, come from our clients. You can't hide from that. You cannot hide from that. And if you truly have what I call true visibility, so one of the things we really believe in this company is we do a lot of role play.
Sure.
So let's say that you're not performing up to standards. You're not performing up to Tory standards, let's say.
Sure.
It's more than me telling you that. I can show you that.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, now you've got visibility, and now all of a sudden you've got transparency, and with that comes accountability.
Mm.
You cannot get away with just saying this customer is difficult. We all have difficult customers. Your job is to create memories so that customer has a positive experience.
Yeah.
So that gold star translates into accountability. Then what we do is we reward you for that. So it's not just us saying this is good, but every time you bring in a positive score, a 5 score, you get money. And so every job you do, you have an opportunity to make more money. We measure these throughout the month. At the end of the month, the people with the most fives win upwards of $250 to $300, the top three people. So to say we're going to measure it and we're going to pay attention to it, people will believe that for about 3 days, but
Mm-hmm.
they'll believe it every 30 days when you hand them money.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Because it becomes tangible.
Exactly right.
Yeah. You provide a quality service. You hit the metrics because
Yep.
we can't lie on the metrics. And you're right. We call it the balance between subjective and objective. And it's beautiful to know that like these aren't the objective standards are not coming from the boss. They're not coming from your coworkers. They're coming from the customer at the end of the rainbow.
That's correct. Yep.
Yes, maybe Sally was a jerk. Absolutely. Could happen. But if you keep it going, if you keep providing that quality, that memorable experience for your clients, it'll balance out your scores at the end of the day. And we all get to see, what I really like is I like the fact that let's just say you've got high performers, medium performance, and lower performers. Your higher and medium performance can look and say, hey, Bob, man, what happened? These numbers, I mean, I see your numbers ain't where they need to be. How can I help you? How can I help you with that? Because culturally we got to do better as a team. Like, I want to put some cash in your pocket, Bob. Like, what do we need? How can we do this together as a team?
Joe, you said it right. You know, we all have A, B, and C performers.
Yes.
The idea is to move the B's up to A's.
Yep.
Hopefully, move the C's up to B's. If the C's can't move, we love you, but we're going to miss you.
You got to go. Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
But on Fridays, Angie will walk around the docks and hand guys envelopes of money. Now, imagine this. So go to your point. I give you an envelope, but I don't give Johnny over here an envelope. Can you imagine the power of that?
I know.
They all know who's getting the envelopes. They all know. And at some point, they will do exactly that. The ones that want to be B players will go up and say, Joe, you're obviously doing some things right. Tell me what your secret is.
Yeah.
The ones that don't come up to you will also recognize, you know what, there probably isn't a future here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really nice self-monitoring system that, as a business owner, you have to be able to create these cultures, create these opportunities for your team to empower them to make decisions on their own and get them a part of the give them opportunities to be a part of the team and not just a mover and not just an employee, but we're all teammates together.
100% right. It's
Yep.
100% right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What, all right, so this is part of that loaded question because we're getting close on time and I like talking with you. So we could probably do this for an hour and a half.
You got it.
What advice would you give somebody just getting started to help them unleash the potential of their own team? What would you do as an experienced business owner?
So I'm going to tell you a quick story here. During my journey, one of the reasons I changed, I became close to a gentleman called Francis X. McGuire. Francis McGuire had a fantastic background. He worked at FedEx, he worked for Colonel Sanders, and he worked for the Kennedy administration. So I'm dating myself here. Half your listeners don't know who any of those companies are.
Yeah, we don't even say Kentucky Fried Chicken anymore. We say KFC.
But he wrote a book entitled You Are the Greatest. And in this book, he has the best quote. He says, people will forget what you say, and people will forget what you do, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we've got a couple rules that are, I don't even call them rules, we just do it. Our leadership walks around the company and will stop and say, Joe, what can I do for you today? What can I do to help you do your job better? And sometimes those discussions become personal.
Yeah.
But I do know that if you are sincere and really care about people, your people will recognize it.
Yeah.
If you're not sincere, they'll recognize that. And that's what's happened to me. I cared when I first started, I cared more about our performance than I did our people. And I didn't get it. And so once that took over, once our leaders started showing that, my job became really, really, really easy. Really easy. And so
Yeah.
those are the couple bits of advice I have. You got one other thing. You've got to work on culture every single day. Every single day.
Yeah.
And that's really important.
I love it. All right. Open space to share anything of note. Do you have any new events, employee appreciation, anything cool that you want to share, and anything uncool? Maybe there's new hydraulics in the trucks. I don't know. David,
Well,
man, the floor is yours.
our industry right now is transitioning. We are going right now from really household good moving to be our core business to hospitality business being our core business. And that's exciting that we have made that transition that keeps our employees working. I can see that the hospitality business needs a little more explanation.
Yeah.
Hotels, restaurants, motels, they're always offices. They're refurbishing. They're getting rid of the old. They're bringing in the new. And so we will bring in, as a hotel, maybe it will redo 300 rooms. We will bring in that product, store that product in our warehouse, and then we will deliver it. We will deliver it out, and we'll set up those rooms going forward. So that's really exciting. I think that as long as we remain in the trucking business, there's a bright future for us here.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud to be part of an industry that helps move America. So, you know, in the drivers and everything, there's just more sophistication, way more technology than I ever imagined. This week is Driver Appreciation Week for all of our drivers, and so we do some things that we think is important. And I wrote them a letter, and one of the things that I never imagined when our drivers first started on board that they would have to be so experts in the area of technology. It just wasn't part of the scope. The inventory, the devices on the trucks, the tracking, it just requires a whole different learning curve. Those that adjust will have brilliant careers. And,
Yes.
and, and those that want to continue to do things the old ways, that's a tough go.
You know what? We had a patient here, a young patient. He's in his younger 20s. He's a welder. My grandfather was a welder, so I've got
Uh-huh.
some, I understand how that works. I don't know how to weld, but so one day he was coming in and I'm like, "Hey, what projects are you working on? What kind of things are you putting together?" You can smell the flux still on them. So I get a little reminiscent of, my grandfather. And I'm like, I'm building robots today. Like, what do you mean you're building robots today?
Right.
Like, what do you mean you're he's like, "Oh yeah, we got a contract to build these duct cleaning robots that go in, can visualize, clean the ducts so we don't have to make all the, for inspection purposes." I think that's crazy. To your point, like, you're right, the drivers, they have to have such a huge amount of knowledge base in order to not only from, like, for us, for like a DOT compliance standard, because those are getting worse every single year, but to also make sure that, the technology of what they're going to transport is going to be there too.
Yep. The talented professionals, our drivers have to be customer satisfaction people. They have to be professional operators on the road for
Yeah.
safety. They have to be really artists. If you see how a truck is loaded, it's a piece of work.
Yes.
And it's a piece of beauty. And
Yes.
and then they have to be tech savvy.
Yeah.
So it just is a changing world, and those that change with it are going to continue to move forward.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. How important, I'm gonna last question. How important is health and wellness to your performers, to the office team, to all this? How important is being healthy to your culture and your family?
Well, let's start with this. Okay. We offer our crews very good health benefits. Really, we have family offerings because we believe in that.
Yeah.
That is critical.
Yeah.
I know that many of our drivers go over to your facility
Yeah.
and for your treatment. And I know that our people recommend them. Look, you mentally and physically, you cannot perform if one little thing is just off a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, you got to emphasize those things. It's critical. And so I want to thank you because I know you
Yeah.
treat a number of our drivers.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you because it's important for us to get them back on the road.
Of
So
course.
nothing is
Yeah.
more important than that.
Good. Listen, they can't earn them gold stars if their backs are hurting. So
Sure.
we got to keep them healthy, right?
That's
Yeah.
right. I got enough ailments for the whole rest of the company. Let's
Yeah,
just
so you're
keep things in
covered.
perspective
You're
here.
covered. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Well, David, listen, I gotta say thank you. This has truly been a pleasure. I really enjoy getting to talk with you. And listen, if you ever want me to come and talk to the company or just give them a pep talk, it would truly be a pleasure to come do it with you.
We're going to take you up on that. I promise. This late
Good.
this fall, you'll be in here.
Done. Done. We'll make the
Oh,
date happen.
and bring your table with you. I might need my back cracked by when you come in here.
Listen, we can
Okay.
make that the showcase of the whole talk. Be like, Mr. Sabada's going to come up here. He's going to get his adjustment live in front of all hundreds of you. What do you all say? Like,
There
let's
you
do it.
go.
Yeah, we'll hold your feet to the fire real quick on that one.
Yeah, you'll get a lot of encouragement. I can tell you
Oh,
that.
I believe it. I believe it. Well, listen, we'll be like $5. Who wants to hold his feet down? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing this with me. I did have a blast talking with you.
I did too, Joe. Thank you very much.